March 21st, 1622. Powhatan warriors arrive at English settlements along the James River carrying deer, turkeys, fish, and fruit. They've done this countless times before, trading goods, sharing meals, working alongside colonists in tobacco fields. The settlers welcome them warmly. 8 years of peace since the First Anglo-Powhatan War ended has created trust. Natives and colonists visit each other's homes freely. Children play together. Some Powhatan families even live within English settlements. Nobody suspects that tomorrow morning everything will change. Opechancanough, paramount chief of the Powhatan Confederacy, has spent years planning what comes next. A coordinated military offensive across 31 settlements. Simultaneous attacks at a pre-arranged signal. The goal? Kill every English settler in Virginia or drive them back into the sea. Jamestown, established in 1607, sits on a peninsula in the James River. It's the first permanent English settlement in North America and capital of the Virginia colony. By 1622, approximately 1,200 colonists live scattered across plantations extending 60 miles along the river. They've discovered tobacco. John Rolfe's new strain produces enormous profits. But tobacco exhausts soil quickly, forcing constant expansion into Powhatan territory. Every year, settlers claim more land. They burn forests to create fields. Their livestock trample native crops. Their expansion pushes the Powhatan from ancestral homelands. Chief Powhatan, who died in 1618, had maintained uneasy peace through his daughter Pocahontas's marriage to Rolfe in 1614. But his successor Opechancanough watched English encroachment with growing fury. Opechancanough isn't just angry about land. In 1620, Virginia Company officials led by George Thorpe began pressuring Powhatan families to send children for English education and Christian conversion. They want cultural assimilation, erasing Powhatan identity and replacing it with English values. Most colonists still treat natives with contempt, despite official integration policies. Thorpe himself reported, "There is scarce any man among us that doth so much as afford them a good thought in his heart, and most men, with their mouths, give them nothing but maledictions and bitter execrations." The Powhatan endure daily insults while watching their lands stolen. Opechancanough recognizes what the English refuse to acknowledge. Coexistence is impossible. One culture will dominate. The other will disappear. He chooses to fight. The catalyst arrives in early March 1622. English settlers kill Nemataniw, one of Opechancanoug's most powerful warriors and shamans. Known as Jack of the Feather for wearing feathers and swan wings, Nemataniw was believed to have magical protection against English bullets. When shot, he asked to be buried among colonists so his people wouldn't know how he died. Opechancanough publicly dismisses the death, telling the English that the sky should sooner fall than peace be broken. Privately, he finalizes his war plans. He and his brother Opechapam adopt new names, a Powhatan tradition signaling they're about to take agency and embark on new roles. The time for war has arrived. March the 22nd is chosen as the date. Dawn will bring death. March 22nd, 1622. Powhatan warriors circulate through settlements as they have for days. They share breakfast with families. They work in fields alongside colonists. They enter homes carrying tools for trade or farm work. Everything appears normal. Then at a prearranged signal, likely mid-morning when families are dispersed and vulnerable, they strike. Warriors grab axes, hoes, and knives. They turn these everyday tools into weapons. Families eating breakfast are murdered in their homes. Workers in tobacco fields are cut down mid-harvest. Children are killed alongside parents. The attacks are swift, brutal, coordinated. Within hours, plantations along the James River are burning. Bodies lie everywhere. The Powhatan kill 347 colonists, nearly one-third of the entire English population in Virginia. Men, women, children, even George Thorpe, the colonist most sympathetic to natives, is murdered. Only Jamestown receives warning. An Indian youth living with colonist Richard Pace, a Christian convert who the English called Chanco, learns of the plot and alerts his host. Pace rows across the river at dawn, reaching Jamestown just before the attack. The settlement bars its gates. Colonists arm themselves. When Powhatan warriors arrive, they find defenses prepared. The assault on Jamestown fails, but everywhere else, the offensive succeeds completely. Settlers at Martin's Hundred, Henricus, Smith's Hundred, and Falling Creek ironworks are slaughtered. The survivors, stunned, terrified, abandon outlying plantations and retreat into 8 fortified locations. The colony's expansion halts overnight. Crops are destroyed, livestock killed. Winter is approaching, and they've lost their food supplies. Opechancanough withdraws his warriors, expecting the English to behave as natives would when defeated. Pack up and leave. He predicts, before the end of 2 moons, there should not be an Englishman in all their countries. He's catastrophically wrong. The English don't abandon Jamestown. They entrench. During the winter of 1622 to 1623, over 400 more colonists die from malnutrition, disease, and periodic native raids, more than died in the initial attack. Ironically, survivors must trade with the Powhatan for corn to avoid starvation. But rage and desire for vengeance burn hotter than hunger. The massacre doesn't drive the English away. It justifies total war. English retaliation is systematic and brutal. They launch organized campaigns, burning Powhatan villages, destroying cornfields, and killing warriors, women, and children indiscriminately. In May 1623, Captain William Tucker arranges a peace meeting with Opechancanough. Dr. John Pott prepares poisoned wine. During ceremonial toasts, 200 Powhatans die from the poison. Another 50 are killed outright. Opechancanough escapes, but many tribal leaders perish. The English don't just defeat the Powhatan militarily. They target their food supply. They raid villages during planting season, burning crops before harvest. The strategy causes widespread famine. Within years, they've avenged the 347 deaths many times over. The Second Anglo-Powhatan War continues until 1632, ending in an uneasy truce. But the balance of power has shifted permanently to the English. The massacre has immediate political consequences. News reaches England by mid-June 1622. The Virginia Company, already struggling financially, cannot send adequate supplies or military aid. Critics blame company mismanagement for leaving colonists vulnerable. In 1624, King James I revokes the Virginia Company's charter, transforming Virginia into a royal colony under direct crown control. This changes everything. Imperial policy now dictates relations with natives. Integration is abandoned. Separation becomes official policy. In 1644, an elderly Opechancanough, now in his 90s, so frail he must be carried on a litter, launches one final offensive. His warriors kill over 400 English settlers. But by then, Virginia's population exceeds 8,000. The massacre represents less than 10% of colonists. The uprising fails. Opechancanough is captured and imprisoned at Jamestown. a guard shoots and kills him in his cell. The 1622 massacre fundamentally altered English-Native American relations across all colonies. Before March 22nd, many colonists genuinely believed cultural integration was possible. Afterward, natives were seen as irredeemable savages, requiring extermination or subjugation. The massacre justified decades of genocidal warfare. It influenced English military campaigns during the Pequot War in 1636 to 1638 and King Philip's War in 1675 to 1678. Each conflict featured the same pattern: surprise native attack, followed by overwhelming English retaliation targeting civilian populations and food supplies. The Treaty of 1646, signed after Opechancanoug's death, dissolved the Powhatan Confederacy and established Virginia's reservation system, confined enclaves where surviving natives lived under English governance as tributaries paying annual beaver skin tributes. By 1700, the Powhatan population had collapsed from an estimated 25,000 in 1607 to just a few thousand. Their traditional lands were gone, their culture suppressed, but they survived. Powhatan descendants live in Virginia today, preserving their history and promoting traditional culture. The massacre didn't achieve Opechancanoug's goal of driving out the English. Instead, it ensured what he feared most: total English domination. March 22nd, 1622, wasn't a military victory. It was a strategic catastrophe that accelerated the very destruction it sought to prevent. Sometimes striking first means losing everything.